a girl named Tala decides to leave the house to hang out with some of the new friends she has made after moving to a new town named Nibo with her family. After telling her stepdad Arthur where she's going, she also gets questioned by her mom, Liv, who is a cop. Liv tells her to return home early, but she says she'll try. Shortly after, she arrives at a party with a group of teenagers. She then meets a guy named Jonas, who welcomes her and asks if she's enjoying the town. Tala says the town is slightly boring, but she's hopeful it will get better. One of Jonas's friends, Elin, suddenly gets jealous that he's talking to Tala. She interrupts their conversation and asks to see him privately so they can talk. He agrees and tells Tala he'll be back, and while they leave, a guy named Vidar starts asking her questions about why she and her family moved to Nebo. Tala gets uncomfortable with the questions, mainly because he's also trying to make fun of her, so she walks away. While walking around, she sees Jonas talking to Elin, who says she doesn't know why he brought the new girl to the party. As Tala turns her back, she suddenly hears Elin screaming, and when she takes a look, she sees her bleeding near the bush. She immediately goes to help her, but while at it, something attacks her. Before she can realize what's going on, Elin is dragged into the woods, and Tala can only run toward Jonas, who also has blood all over his shirt. A while later, Liv arrives at the scene after hearing of the attack in the woods. Her boss, Eilert, immediately updates her on what happened, saying that Elin is missing. He also adds that since Elin is the mayor's daughter, it will be a big case. He then tells her that Jonas is one of the two witnesses, but he's still in shock. He also mentions that Tala is the second witness, and she was at the party too. Liv is shocked to hear this, and as she looks worried, Eilert says her daughter is fine, but they need to ask her questions about what she saw. He then tells Liv to go and ask the questions, and as she meets her daughter at the back of the ambulance, she asks what happened. But Tala is also in shock and cannot recollect what happened. Suddenly, Eilert calls for Liv to come and take a look at something. When she gets there, she sees bloodstains on the ground, and as she also looks around, she finds a claw close to the crime scene. Liv eventually takes her daughter home, and in the morning, she asks again if she can remember anything. Tala says she's not sure what happened, but she saw Elin get knocked down, after which she also fell and found herself on the ground. Later that day, Liv and Eilert start interrogating all the students who were at the party. After asking a series of questions, they're still unable to get enough details on what they're looking for, but Jonas suggests it could be an animal. That night, Liv starts doing some research to find out which animal has claws similar to the one she found. When she sees that it's most likely a wolf, she calls her boss to inform him that they need to send out a hunting party. However, he says he can't do that until he's sure a wolf took Elin. The following day, while Tala is having breakfast with her sister Jenny, their mom gets a call from her boss, who says he has found Elin's body. A while later, Liv arrives at the coroner's office with Eilert, and the coroner tells them that even though there were claw and bite marks on Elin's dead body, it's unlikely that a wolf killed her. She says she has seen many wolf attacks in the past, but none of them looked like that. She then directs Liv to call someone who is an expert on predators. Meanwhile, Tala returns to the scene of the attack, and while looking around, she hears a voice calling her name. As she moves closer, she sees Elin calling her name, but it turns out she's only hallucinating. Elsewhere, a professor of veterinary science named William is approached by his boss about a request he got from the police in Nibo to send him over. He says the police think a wolf killed a local teenager, and they want him to help them connect the dots. On hearing this, William says it's unlikely because wolves don't kill humans, but he says he doesn't mind going over to take a look. That night, a man named Lars breaks into the coroner's office to see Elin's body. In the morning, Lars then goes to the police department, requesting to see Liv regarding the death of Elin. When he meets her, he says that what she's looking for is a werewolf, and he knows it because he has been hunting the beast for years. She doesn't believe what he's saying, but he adds that the werewolf is a bloodthirsty monster that needs to be stopped before it starts infecting people. Liv believes he's making up the story, and she tells him to leave her office. He agrees to leave, but tells her where she can find him if she's ready to hunt the animal. Before he heads out, he also says that if she's looking for the werewolf, she needs to look for places where a wolf can hide, like a hole or a cave. He also gives her a special bullet, which he says is the only kind of bullet that can kill the beast. As she takes a look at it, he sneakily drops a pack of bullets in her jacket and leaves. Elsewhere, Tala meets Jonas at a restaurant. He says sorry for letting her get into the mess that happened at the party, but she says he doesn't need to apologize. As he says he still thinks about it, she tells him that she has not been herself since it happened. After their meal, she heads out only to see Vidar with some of his friends. He tells her he has been hearing rumors that she had the chance to save Elin, but she ran away. Tala doesn't like his accusations, and as she's about to leave, he sees a bruise on her shoulder and jokes about it. She eventually gets uncomfortable and leaves without Jonas, who is not pleased with what Vidar did. When Tala gets home, she runs to her room while her parents are in the living room. She goes into the bathroom and sees that the bite mark from the animal that attacked Elin is still not healing as it should. As she cries, Liv knocks on the door, but she tells her not to come in. Despite this, her mom barges in to know what's wrong with her daughter, but Tala is not pleased with this. As she's trying to explain why she came in, Liv sees her daughter's injury, but Tala tells her it's nothing serious and she wants to be left alone. Her mom says she hoped they'd get a fresh start in Nybo to work on their relationship, but Tala accuses Liv of not being there for her until her father died. Before her mom can check her bruise again, she leaves the bathroom and heads for her room. The following day, when she wakes up, Tala looks really pale and starts to feel weird. She realizes she's late for school and immediately rushes out. There, she struggles to catch her breath until Jason shows up and asks if she's all right. She says she is, and he also says sorry for what Vidar did the other day. Elsewhere, Professor William arrives in Nybo to see Liv and Eilert. While looking at Elin's body, he tells them that the bite marks all over her body are from the same animal. When he also sees the claw they found at the crime scene, he says that even though it's unusually longer than a normal wolf's claw, everything indicates that Elin was attacked by a wolf. With this, Eilert says he'll get a hunting permit so they can go into the woods to find the animal. In school, Tala's hearing gets heightened, and she realizes that she can clearly hear pencil marks on paper. While still confused as to what's happening to her, she sees one of her classmates' face turn into a wolf, and she screams. It turns out she's only hallucinating, and the whole class looks at her strangely. She goes into the restroom to take a breather, but as she's inside, she hears something behind one of the toilet doors. As she opens it, she sees Elin, who says she's responsible for her death. Tala gets scared, but it turns out she's hallucinating again, and she runs out of the school. Meanwhile, Eilert gets the hunting permit, and also brings Liv and some other cops to join him on the wolf hunt. Not long after moving around, they find a dead body that has had his head ripped off. As they see that the bite marks are similar to the ones on Elin, they realize it's the same animal. After a while, they find a cave, and Liv decides to go in to check. As she climbs to the bottom, the ladder breaks, and she falls next to the ripped head of the body outside. Before she can look around, she hears screams outside, and it appears that the wolf is already outside the cave attacking the others. As she's climbing back up, she is shocked to see a giant wolf in front of her. It attacks her, and she falls badly to the ground. As it then comes closer to finish her off, she starts shooting at it, but nothing happens to the wolf. She soon runs out of bullets, and as she picks a new pack in her jacket, it turns out to be Lars's bullets, and just as the wolf gets to her, she shoots it. Liv survives the attack, and she is taken for an evaluation at the hospital. After she's through, she asks to see Eilert, but when she gets to his room, she sees that he's still in a coma. Later that night, Jenny sees her sister Tala staring at her window from outside the house. She then goes outside to bring her back in, but Tala doesn't seem to remember what happened. Her sister tells her she was sleepwalking, but she says it's because she's really tired. She adds that it's almost like she hasn't slept in months. Jenny then says she'll always be there for her sister, who suddenly falls asleep. The next day, Liv goes to see William after he's done taking a look at the wolf. He says only one of the bullets she shot affected the wolf, and when he shows her, she sees that it's Lars's bullet. William also shows her that the wolf has a nail that came out of the spot where it lost a claw. As she looks confused, he says he called one of his colleagues about it, and the person told him it has to be a werewolf, but he doesn't believe werewolves are real, because it's similar to what Lars had told her. She goes to see the old man along with William. When they get to his trailer, he says he heard that they finally killed the wolf. Liv shows him the bullet that killed the animal, and he laughs, seeing that it's his own. She then asks him to tell William what he knows. While William tries to find a less incredible explanation for what happened to the wolf, Lars brings out his book with details on everything he knows about werewolves. He says they were likely formed as a result of a failed attempt to crossbreed a wolf and a human. He also adds that a young werewolf is driven by blood, and it doesn't stop killing people. He mentions that the transformation process is gradual, and that the infected human will have their senses heightened, before they start developing claws, sharp teeth, and a hairy face. Liv asks if there's a way to reverse the process, but he says there's no turning back, and such a person has to be killed. Later that night, Tala gets a text from Jonas asking if they can meet up. Despite looking pale, she sneaks out of the house to meet him. While they're together, he gets a call from his dad, and as he leaves to take it, the full moon comes out. Tala starts to get uncomfortable, and when Jonas comes back to meet her, he sees her on the ground. As he goes closer, she shouts for him to leave, but when he doesn't do that, she attacks and kills him. The next morning, Liv hears of another attack and heads out to the crime scene. However, she doesn't see that Tala is lying in the workshop next to the house. When she wakes up, she looks into a mirror and sees that her face has changed, and her teeth are also not normal. At the crime scene, William tells Liv that the bite marks on Jonas's body are different from the ones on Elin. With this, she realizes that there's another wolf in town. After a while, Tala hides behind a bush next to the crime scene, and as she watches Jonas's body being taken away, she starts crying. Elsewhere, Lars goes to see Eilert in the hospital. Because he has a bite mark from the wolf, Lars disconnects the life support so that Eilert dies, and there won't be another werewolf. Meanwhile, Tala decides to leave town, and that night, she gets on a bus. However, the full moon appears again, and she transforms into a wolf and kills most of the people on the bus. Lars intercepts a police radio message informing cops in the area about the reports of a wolf attack. Liv is close to the crime scene, so she decides to check it out. When she gets there, she sees people running away from the bus. She still goes ahead to see what's happening, and as she enters the bus and sees Tala's clothes and necklace, she discovers that her daughter is the new werewolf. William also arrives at the scene, and as he tells her that he found human DNA as a match for what killed Jonas, she tells him it's her daughter. Tala goes back to the house and is about to attack her sister when Jenny sees that the color of the wolf's eyes matches that of her sister. Just as she realizes that Tala is now a wolf, Arthur comes into the house and attacks her. He's able to get Jenny out of the house so they can leave before the wolf follows them, but he appears to have been bitten, so he starts losing a lot of blood. He eventually loses control of the car and crashes close to a bar where Vidar and his friends are hanging out. Arthur tells Jenny to find somewhere to hide just before he passes out, but as she steps out of the car, she sees Tala about to attack Vidar and his friends. Tala heads for Vidar first and kills him, after which she kills some other people too. Liv gets a radio message about another attack, and as she says she can't kill her daughter, William says he has some tranquilizers with him. Meanwhile, Jenny walks toward Tala as she's eating up someone. She eventually faces her sister and watches as Jenny starts crying and telling her she'll take care of her. This gets Tala calm for a while, but as soon as Liv and Willem show up, her mood changes again. William shoots her with a dose of tranquilizer, but it's not enough to weaken her. Before she attacks them, Liv runs into a store with Jenny and William. As she tries to break in, Lars shows up and drives his car through the store's entrance to kill her, but he only ends up hitting Liv and William. Before he can see what's happening around him, Tala shows up and kills him. As she then approaches Liv, she doesn't hesitate before biting her mother's hand. While struggling to bite it off, Liv tells William to inject the werewolf with another shot of tranquilizer. As he's stuck due to the accident, he's unable to reach it, but Jenny suddenly picks it up and stabs her sister with it. Tala passes out, and Jenny hugs her mother as they both cry. The next day, Tala is already in the lab, still unconscious, but Liv shows up crying and tells her she's sorry. She takes out one of Lars's bullets and puts it into her gun, after which she kills her daughter. Later that day, she heads home and goes into Tala's room. After she sits on the bed, she drops the bullet she used on the drawer and stares at her daughter's picture.